Hello everyone, in this tutorial video we are going to cover the next topic, that is seasoning of timber. So as we know that the timber consists of the sap, the moisture content, which helps in the movement of the nutrition from one part to the another. So if we want to use the timber, let's say if we want to make or use the timber to make the furniture or any certain type of accessory, then whatever the moisture, what is the excess moisture that is present in the timber, that is needed to be removed. If we are not removing that moisture, if that timber is not well seasoned, then we can't actually use that timber in our day-to-day life. For example, whatever the timber, whatever the furniture, whatever the sofa that you have across you, if you look around them, then you will notice that there is no any percentage of moisture content in it. That's why it is durable. You might have heard from your parents that do not wet the timber, because they know that if you will wet the timber, its life is going to be decreased. So if you want to use a timber for a long run, then the whatever the moisture content that is present in the timber, that is needed to be removed. So that whole process of removal, that extra moisture content from the timber, is known as the seasoning of the timber. So there are certain basic objectives which are related to the timber, like if you want to use it as a fuel wood, then it should be properly seasoned. If you want to make timber safe from the attack of the fungi and insect, that I was trying to tell. If you want to reduce the tendency of timber to crack or shrink or wrap, if you want to impart hardness, stiffness and strength, then seasoning of the timber is required. So if you want to use that timber in our day-to-day life, first and most thing, that needed to be properly seasoned, otherwise it can't be used. If we are going to use, then it can't be used for a long duration of time. So first and foremost thing is that you must remove that excess moisture content from that timber. So there are certain two methodologies that we are going to adopt for the seasoning, and these two methods are air seasoning as well as artificial. So in the air seasoning, as you can see from this figure, that the air, natural air, is ventilated from the stack of the wooden planks or timbers, and in doing so, what happens, the air moisture, they take away the moisture content of the timber. So that is one methodology that is known as the natural seasoning. So these have got certain advantages of natural seasoning, like this method is of seasoning timber is cheap and simple, because air is available free of cost. We only have to make arrangement to stack the timber one over other, so that when air is made to pass through it, whatever the moisture content which is present in it, that could be taken away by the wind blow. So this is one of the very cheap method by which a layman can also make a seasoned timber. So along with it, there are certain disadvantages also. For example, the drying of different surfaces may not be even or uniform, as the process depends upon natural air. It's just sometimes become difficult to control, because we can't control the speed or velocity of the wind. So these are some of the disadvantage of natural. If you consider about the artificial seasoning, then this is one alternative to the natural seasoning. In this case, we use the artificial means in order to season the wood. Let's say we have used chemical method or certain methods like electrical methods in order to remove the excess moisture content from the timber. So there are certain reasons for adopting this artificial seasoning, which includes, let's say, the drying of different surfaces is even and uniform, and that is controlled in the artificial seasoning. The wood becomes more suitable for painting and gluing. So there are certain pros related to the artificial seasoning, and we do so by either following from these five methodologies, which includes boiling, chemical, electrical, kiln and water seasoning. So let's see at first the boiling methodology. In this methods, what we actually do, we put the wooden blocks or timber in the boiling water. Okay, so this is the first methodology. We immerse that in this boiling water, but that definitely affects its elasticity and strength. Okay, the next methodology, in this we use chemical, external chemical, let's say suppose salt. So if you are using salt, then it is known as salt seasoning, and in this method that timber is immersed in a solution of suitable salt, and then it is taken out and seasoned. And as you know that if you are going to place, or if you are going to apply the salt over the timber, then due to the osmosis process, due to change in the concentration, the water which is present inside the timber will definitely come out, and by this way we can achieve a seasoned timber. The next methodology is the electrical seasoning, in which we used to place this wooden block across the two electrical electrodes, and electricity is made to pass through it. So when it passes, the heat are generated, and when the heat is generated, then the whatever the water content that is present inside this timber are removed. So this is one of the very controlled way by which a particular amount of water content can be maintained in the timber. Next type of methodology is kiln seasoning. In this type of seasoning, what we do, we dry the timber inside an artificial airtight chamber. Let's see, this is an artificial airtight chamber, that is the kiln. And what we do, we try to maintain the temperature about 35 to 38 degrees Celsius, and there are certain fans, ventilations and stack of the timber which are provided, and air is continuously made to pass through it and come inside it, and in doing so we can achieve a particular requisite amount of the moisture content in the timber. So, and the next type of the seasoning is water seasoning. In this type of seasoning, what we do, we place the wooden planks, timber in the running water. We place them for about 2 to 4 weeks, and in doing so, whatever the extra sap or moisture content which is present in the wooden block or timber is removed. So this water seasoning, this obviously takes time, but whatever the excess or the sap which is present in it, that get washed away in the flowing river. So this is the water seasoning. As you can see here, that we have placed the timber in the lake or pond for a particular duration of time, and in doing so, whatever the excess sap which is present in it, or the moisture, that gets removed from the timber. Now we will now going to see some of the market forms of the timber. So if you are going to the market to buy the timber, then you will find timber in either of these 10 possible categories. Let's say we may have batten, bulk, board, deal, end, log, plank, pole, quartering, scantling. So some of these terminologies may you have heard before. Let's say board, you know that is a plank, that is a timber piece with parallel side. Its thickness is less than 50 mm and its width exceeds 150 mm. We have deal, we have bulk, we have got log, we have got plank, that is a timber piece with parallel sides. Its thickness is less than 50 mm and its width exceeds 50 mm. So if you are going in the market to buy the timber, then you are going to share to the shopkeeper that you want certain type of the timber, let's say plywood or plank, or certain type of market terminology which are basically used if you are going to the market to buy the timber. So that's for today, and that was the last topic in this timber category. From next onwards we will cover the other topic. Thank you.